Hey folks, welcome to the inaugural Wild Tangent weekly tangent cast. We're going to be sitting here kind of talking about games and just going through everything that we put up on the service. You've got your two co-hosts, Brooks and Greg. I'm Greg, that's Brooks.
How are you today?
And we're just basically sitting around. We're going to start talking a little bit. We're doing this live stream to both YouTube and Twitch, and we're going to be covering all types of games. We're going to have a couple different shows a week. So the show that you're getting now is actually going to be more focused towards kind of general PC games, from stuff on Steam to stuff on Wild Tangent. We distribute all of that, and there's going to be games like Beholder 2 that we're going to talk about.
Every game you see on this cast tonight is available on our platform as well.
Yeah. So, and then on Wednesdays we're going to do different types of casts that may interest some people, may not. It's just going to depend on if you like other styles of games, like time management stuff and more
time
casual
management, more
type
puzzle,
rich story, rich kind of
right.
stuff, things like that. So yeah. We've got a couple different things that we were going to show that we just put up. So Brooks, why don't you tell everybody what you do here and kind of where you're from and any of the other information.
All right. Well, so as mentioned, my name is Brooks. I'm born and raised in Seattle, so I've lived here my entire life. I'm a part of Wild Tangent's content team. So we bring in content, sourced it from developers or publishers. So we have a pretty fun job where we get to kind of scout out various games, bring them onto our platform. And so tonight, one of the first ones we went ahead and selected was a game called Beholder 2, which is a sequel to the original Beholder game. It's developed by Warm Lamp Games and published by Alawar Premium.
And Alawar's a big partner of ours. They've been for... Wild Tangent's been in PC game distribution for 20 years, roughly. Mm-hmm. And Alawar, I know, has been at least 10 of those.
Oh, easily.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, they do a lot of good games. What's some of the other games that they've done? The Do Not Feed the Monkeys?
Yeah, so recently here, they've really been moving towards kind of some core type of games. So in October... Alawar published another game called Do Not Feed the Monkeys, which interestingly enough has a little bit in common with not only Beholder but Beholder 2. And we'll kind of get into those here in a little bit once we start to play the game.
It kind of surprised me that they actually had something to do with this. I didn't know the triangle was so deep in the three games that they started out with. Beholder,
right?
Do Not Feed the Monkeys,
right? And
Beholder 2 all have some kind of tie-in. Which
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea about that until you mentioned it to me. I was really shocked.
So just to give a tiny bit of backstory about the first game, just to kind of set up the second game. In the first game, you played as someone named Carl, who basically ran surveillance on an apartment building. Throughout part of that game, you find out you're under some kind of, I believe it was like some kind of emotion control drug. And so this game is not directly related to Carl from the first game. This game picks up, and we're going to start some playing here. You play as Evan in this game. And unlike the first game, where you were surveilling an apartment, in this game, you are actually now working for the Prime Ministry. So what you heard about in the first game, this ministry, actually this game now takes place in the ministry itself.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah, let's get into showing some stuff. Actually, before we go into the main game, we're going to show off a couple games that we have on the service that we were just putting up recently. That we control. And by the way, I'm Greg. I've been known as Fog on Twitch when I had my own channel, and essentially, Brooks and I handle everything that goes up onto the platform. We do all the developer and publisher distribution agreements to negotiation to saying, hey, we love that game, or hey, what's your games coming out this year? So we kind of do all of that. We get direct chance to interact with them, and then we get the games up and live and work with everybody else here at WildTangent. This is actually our office. We used to be in Redmond, Washington, so for roughly about 19 and a half of those 20 years or so, we were in a totally different area. So we just moved to Bellevue. That is why everything here is kind of a little in shambles. Not so much, but a little bit. It's not the final setup for the weekly shows that we'll be doing, but this is what we're dealing with now. We have to move some stuff around until we get it all set up, but bear with us. It's going to be interesting. So let's talk about a racing game that we just put up. So Super Truck Off-Road. This is, you've heard of Iron Man, or Ivan Iron Man Stewart Super Off-Road?
Yeah, we used to play it in the arcade.
Right, the arcade game, right? So that game essentially was brought into a PC playable game, more 3D, kind of reminds you, it definitely reminds you of Super Off-Road you can see on the screen, but I think it also reminds me a little bit of like an advanced RC Pro-Am.
Sure, yeah.
Right, on Nintendo NES. But it's almost got the feel of like it was a mobile game, or it was meant to be a game where there was in-app purchase.
Right.
Now this one, when you buy it, it's actually like the full game, and you do upgrade in the game, but you have to pay for it with in-app currency that's in the game already. It's not like you have to go buy $10 worth of some kind of gold coins or whatever. You can see they're picking up money bags and stuff like that. You don't have to go buy anything extra. It's all within the game, but it's got a nice feel to it. It's a little bit of a racer. It's multiplayer. It's just a fun little racing game. That's how I felt about it. I mean, it definitely took me back to like the Iron Man Stewart. Like you said, the arcade machine used to be 3 wheels. It's been a minute
since I've been in the arcade, and you just sling those things like The Price is Right.
Like The Price is Right. They would just fly around, and I spent a lot of money on this. So I as a kid, this is I'm of the arcade generation. I actually went to arcades like whenever I went into the mall or whatever like that. That's where I would be found. My parents would be shopping or whatever, so I was a big arcade person. How about you? Did you do any?
A little bit later, I worked at a LAN center, funny enough, here in Bellevue called LANWorks when I was like 17. This is before I went and I worked at Nintendo. And LANWorks had subletted part of the building to a hobby shop called Kicks Japan.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Then there was an old arcade in Kirkland called Quarters. So the LANWorks, this is back when it was right next to the Main Bauer Center, right? Yep. Where they used to hold, old school PAX before that blew up as well. So in the same building, we had a LAN center, we had a Kicks Japan, and we had what was left of the Quarters arcade.
Gotcha.
And that was kind of like the main gaming hub. A lot of the UW scene was there, a lot of the Bellevue College scene, because so
it was just basically like a central location.
It was more like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, CVS 2, Third Strike, so it was more kind of centered around fighting games. But
yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have that advanced stuff, but and currently it's really hard to find anything that's an arcade. But there are some in Seattle. You could find something like this. So it does have customization, and you can see there's a little bit of painting, a little bit of upgrades, all that stuff. Interesting game. We just thought it doesn't get enough visibility. Another game is a VR game, VR only. This is Torn. Torn is, when we both saw it, it was like BioShock. It's like VR BioShock.
Right.
It's kind of not that advanced. This is just a little brief part of the intro. You can. If you go to wildtangent.com, you can check out where the game is. It's on the front page, and you can see like the full playthrough. We put one of my videos up where it's complete playthrough from beginning to end. You can check it out. But it's kind of like Myst. If anybody remembers Myst, and Myst integrated with the BioShock kind of look and feel, the Art Deco
This is
design
probably
of
just
that.
decoration.
One of the writers for BioShock
Am I gonna
worked
wanna
on
look
Yeah.
was the
Get
director
You
of
can
Torment.
tell there's some of
Why
that,
not?
right? There's like this twist at the end and all that stuff. I don't want to give anything out, but if you really want to, you could see the whole thing if you were up for it. So this was cool, and we
was
really
this?
appreciate VR. So
Who was this developed by?
This was from Aspire is the actual. Aspire is the actual publisher.
Okay.
The dev slips my mind
Okay.
on that one. I can't remember exactly who it is.
I wasn't sure if this was an Aspire developed game as well.
I think it is.
Okay.
They were heavily handed. Like if you go through that's why I want to say it might have been an in-house project because it was all Aspire employees that worked on it, as far as I can remember in the credits, in the end credits. So yeah, it's kind of a very cool adventure game. There's also a nice integration of you can teleport. You can choose to do teleport. You can choose to do, full. What's the word am I looking for? Full locomotion.
Right.
So you can do that as your camera. You can even have your VR headset be the camera, or you can have the camera fixed and you're able to look around, but then you have to use like a kind of combination of two buttons to turn 30 degrees or 90 degrees or whatever you set it up to.
Well, because then unlike some games, this is exclusively in VR. You have to have VR to play this.
Yeah, there is no, it's not like VR mode included. It's straight, you got to play and you got to buy it and have VR set. And it usually takes like an NVIDIA 970 and, a decent i5 or a decent, lower i7 to be able to run a game like that. But let's one more that we put up was Northgard. So I know a lot of people that really like the resource management / city builders. Right. So there's Banished. So this game has a little Northgard. What I've played of it and how I feel about it is it's a little bit Banished. If you've ever played Banished on PC, mixed in with like a tiny bit of Frostpunk and They Are Billions.
Okay.
I think those two games kind of combined with Banished really explain what Northgard is. If you hadn't played it, it does have some DLC that's out there, but it's very light, friendly. It almost seems like it would be a casual game when I look at it, right? The characters and all that.
Would you say the game is more focused on combat or resources and building?
I felt it was more focused on resources and building from what I had played. Now, I'm sure you could get in a little bit further and maybe you're looking at maybe you're looking at it becomes you're traveling around, because I do know you travel from spot to spot.
Right.
And it becomes a little bit bigger map that you're dealing with, and then you have to set up stuff there and you have to expand out. So potentially, yeah, it's going to be a little bit bigger than...
and this is taking place within the Norse mythological universe?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is. It's a Norse mythology, and it's overall pretty interesting. I mean, I'd like to get a little bit more time to play it, for sure, because I only really got to go to the first area, unfortunately, because there was time constraints, and as I've always said, I have more games to play than I have a life to live, essentially left. So it's definitely one of those where, yeah, it'd be nice to get deeper into it. I probably will, because I did like Banished, and I do like the other two that I mentioned, There Are Billions and Frostpunk. So I think that it's well worth the play, and I'll probably end up doing a little bit more. So, and then the last one I wanted to show, you got to pick the game that we're going to play.
Sure.
But the last one that I wanted to show was a side-scrolling bullet hell shooter called Cinemora EX. we just put that up, and this game heavy on the story for a shooter.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's almost, it reminds me of Star Fox.
Okay.
Because all the characters that you're reading and that are, you know, involved in the game, they're all animals.
Sure.
What do they call it? Anamorphic characters? Is that what I'm thinking? I think that's the word. They definitely have their own stories that they're telling. It's kind of a shorter game. It's only about 2.5 hours long is what I would tell you. But it has some amazing boss battles. It's got like a lot of fun bullet hell encounters, I'd say. You know, where you're just, some points it's more like Gradius or an R-type where you're kind of going along and you're fighting things. But then you get to the point where it's like, okay, it's not a Karuga exactly, but it's heavy on like what's shooting at you, and definitely it's pretty fun.
It's an interesting game given, so it was developed by Grasshopper, and I believe it was co-developed by Digital Reality.
Yeah.
And Grasshopper's got a history of, you know, some kind of interesting, bordering on bizarre titles.
Yeah,
for anyone that's played Killer 7 or No More Heroes, where the characters are larger than life, you're running around with lightsabers, and so it's something of a gameplay departure from them.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. They, you know, I wouldn't say that it's extremely off for them to make a game like this, but it's definitely a departure from that. You know, it's still stylized. It's
characters are still larger than life.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And the battles that you're in are just crazy, and you can see kind of, I think it was a few seconds ago where it was just throwing bullets and bullets and bullets. It does have a neat mechanic where you don't have a life bar. You actually, the time is what's your life bar. If you get hit, you get time taken away. If you kill something, you get time added. When you encounter bosses, in most cases, it stops the timer, but then it'll eventually go back into it right after you get out of that. So definitely check it out. It's a very interesting game. So I think we can probably do a little bit of Beholder 2.
Yeah.
And we're excited about it. I mean, Beholder 2, like I said, Alawar is a good partner of ours. They've really been in our wheelhouse for many, many years. And we appreciate all the stuff they do for us. And all the games they put out. They do casual, they do core PC games. You know, they do a mixture of everything. But they definitely have been a great partner. So we love their game. And we've got a few to give away as well. So if anybody sends us a message in chat, we can go ahead while we're on stream and give you a free copy of the game to play on your own. So Brooks, why don't you show us a little bit of the game?
Cool. We're going to go ahead and start a new game here. And I lightly touched on this. So this is while a sequel to Beholder is something independent of the first game. In the first game, you really played inside of an apartment complex, whereas in this game, you were actually at the ministry's time. One thing that I find quite interesting about this is Beholder 1's got this concept of surveillance, and then, as we mentioned in October, we both got really into the game called the Monkeys.
Yeah, that was an impressive game.
And kind of the linchpin of this game is there's a combination of you're always listening, you're always surveilling. You've got there are various branches in the story. The game kind of asks that you, as like the player, that you take notes, that you start learning, and then a little bit down the line you actually have to start predicting what people around you might be doing. It's got the controls themselves are very straightforward and not a complex game to play, but don't let that deceive you because the story choices in the game are more complex than would meet the eye.
Yeah.
So there's a tremendous amount of learning. You can cruise through the game in a very small amount of time, or you can take your time and you really understand what everyone's doing. And then you're kind of given the option of do you work with the ministry or do you work against the ministry? Which was something that also was featured in You Not the Monkey, where even when you could offer assistance to the people you're researching, your organization didn't want helping them, but it was to the player. So
yeah, they use some unique things. They take some mechanics from different games. Like Do Not Feed the Monkey felt a little bit like Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Sure, yeah.
Because you had to kind of keep an eye on cameras, switching things. You also are dealing with neighbors coming up and asking for the landlady's asking for money.
Right.
You have to keep everything in line on time and keep track of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. This game, from what we've seen, it has a kind of interesting mechanic that I know a lot of people like, which is the Papers, Pleases.
Yep.
So it's got its own take on it. It's not a copy of it, but it's definitely got its own take. So they're kind of taking from really solid mechanics, really solid game mechanics, and moving those forward into their own story, which is evolving across many games.
Yep.
Almost like a franchise, but not like a franchise, but they're interwoven. So it's like a spin-off or an offshoot of one game that then the second game kind of connects all together.
So right now we start the game we're playing as Evan and bumped into someone named George.
Now, does George work for the ministry? Or do you work for the ministry right now? You said that, I think.
Yeah, so you are in this game, you play as Evan, and unlike the first game where you did work for the ministry but not on site, this game you were on site for the majority of the game.
Gotcha.
Right off the bat, as you can see, something has happened to Evan's father, it would appear.
Gotcha. Yeah. So when I hear ministry, first thing that comes to mind is the ministry of magic from Harry Potter.
Right.
So kind of like this government run, although the ministry of magic is kind of some weird type of government thing was hidden from the rest of the world.
Right.
It's kind of run by the government. You kind of play by their rules. You have to no line stepping.
Yep.
In this kind of role.
Yep.
If you're going to work for them. Obviously, it's just as tough to get through any lines as it is to go to the courthouse. So I guess it's similar to a real world.
One of the big themes in the game is you're in a functionally totalitarian state. So everybody's under surveillance. Even people that work for the ministry are under surveillance right now.
Man, they're working that guy over. George is just like, don't pay attention.
Yeah.
See, this reminds me of like that Ministry of Magic kind of big hall that they would walk down through.
Yep.
Where everybody comes to. They've taken things that are popular in culture and we'll say like science in fictional culture. And they brought some of the best forward, including mechanics, which I did a lot of Papers, Please. I was a huge fan of that. Spent a lot of time playing that game.
Yeah, one of the fun things about this is you can either play it more than once, find all the branch paths, or your game and my game are probably not going to be the same playthrough.
Right. You have your own challenges depending upon
who you talk to, who you don't talk to, you listen to.
Just kind of gives great value to the game. It almost has a limbo feel too. The characters are more that component. Where it's black and white.
It's got the black and white. It's got the exaggerated head.
Absolutely. But the other factor is like everything else is color, so it's kind of the opposite of it. It's just the character. Yeah. It's a lot of dialogue.
Yes.
I don't remember there being this much dialogue in. Well, I guess there wasn't a lot of dialogue in Do Not Feed the Monkeys because they didn't want to give a lot of what's going on away. Right. You have to learn by trial and error to get through that game.
Yep.
So in this one, they're kind of giving you a lot more story.
The story in Do Not Feed the Monkeys is each time you play, all of the characters that you have to surveil are randomized. So by that nature, the story is not fed out to you in a straightforward way because the characters you encounter are different or at least arrive at different times.
Right. I can see that. Okay. So that's desk I take. That's kind of his workstation. Yes.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool. You have one view, and you kind of get a feel like it's going to be like a 2.5 scroll or side scroller.
Right.
But then it becomes now you're in page please. Kind of mechanic or experience. So people what is she asking for? Arm wrestling?
Yeah. So let's see here.
Women's arm wrestling. Champion. I was just thinking our...
Go. Process heals.
Here, I'm going to put the game on full screen for everybody. So we'll duck off for a few minutes here while I play a little bit. It's much better when you get full screen. I like having the camera. I like being able to interact with everybody that's watching. But definitely, these kind of games are really good. And this is a 4K sport game too. This thing goes. That's what we're running at 1920 by 10.
We're 1080 right now. This stretch to 2021.
Yeah, we have a 4K TV in your office that we're playing it on earlier, and it was. It looks good. It's done well. It's got support for what you need.
The real meat and potatoes of the game is getting in. Once you get the hook of you're listening, you're surveilling, you get into the surveillance, that's really where the game lies because it really allows you to play this at your own pace, experience the game that you want to experience, the choices that you want to make. And there are consequences to action in the game as well.
So they're asking for entry? Or they're asking for information?
We're doing where there are people that are processing or unprocessing their appeals right now. So there's people that are at the ministry for one reason or another and are appealing why they were brought here, why they were taken.
Gotcha. So they may have done wrong, they might not have. It's really echoey. I can see that now. Scan scroll. Let's see. I'm going to try. Let me take a listen. I'll try to figure that out. I know exactly why it's echoey, so I apologize. They're going to come on screen real fast to fix that.
All right, so now we're on our way to hand the documents to Magda.
Let's see if that fixes it. Yeah, some guy. We're working on that now. Thanks. Appreciate it. I think we gotta fix this too well. No, it's not fixed. It's still the echo. I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from. I think it's the right cam. I think that's what it is. Let's see if that works. I think we first fixed it. Nope, we didn't fix it. It's still here. You have yours on. Just. I don't hear it anymore. I think we might have fixed it. We get a little bit of delay, obviously, everybody knows, but I think we might have got it. Thank you, though, for letting us know. Yeah, I'll tell you, like having to tear the system down and then put the setup up weekly. We do have audio issues every once in a while. We don't have a dedicated streaming room at this juncture. So we don't get in the way of people. We actually tear the system down, we re-put it up. And sometimes some of the settings get adjusted, so we'll get through that. Perfect, thank you, some guy. So you get to go home.
Yeah, so what I'm doing right now is I headed back, and you can spend the various currencies that you earn in the game to gain various skills that'll help you further down the road, whether that be different books, different computers, different terminals. There's all sorts of various things you have to pick up. And then not only that, but you can also buy content within the game, and I don't mean like buy for dollars, but you can go to your television set and you can buy an episode of TV, or you can buy, the movie that's on. You can later then use that information in other aspects of the game.
Gotcha.
So all the information you consume somewhere is used down the line.
Very cool.
Probably safe to buy this hacking as a part of the quest line.
So, funny enough, in Papers, Please, at the end of your shift every day, you got to go home without the visual representation of it, right?
Right.
Papers, Please is a little bit more on the God, if I can remember, was it pixelated graphics?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So in that, you kind of got just a daily report, and then, your wife would be sick, or your child had lost a finger at school or something like that.
Right.
And there was like all these fines you had to pay, or government, because it was more like a communist. I guess it would have been representation of a communist dictatorship / society, and that you were fined for everything. But it sounds a little bit different in this game. When you still have choices to go,
Yep.
like timed things, kind of like in Do Not Feed the Monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although you look at this, you would never know. It's got similar components,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Like from their other game, looks totally different. Where's he at now?
Well, it's asking me a different branch this time, so
Is this his house still? Yeah.
yeah. But it doesn't seem to want to let me leave until I hack a terminal. I haven't bumped into this story thread before when I've been playing, so.
I know about hacking terminals. Fallout 76 has taught me all I needed to know in terms of terminal hacking for since Fallout 4. So is he getting his information, like his orders, through the TV? Or is that just is that like a PC?
Well, I had one quest that came from George, and then I had another quest that came up through information that I just got.
Gotcha.
Which he told me I was able to learn various skills. I had the currency to be able to go read the hacking book.
Gotcha. Okay. Now I understand. I was like, is he just getting orders through the TV, like, he's crazy? Or is he actually getting orders because of...
Previously, you had communicated through a telephone and through video.
And it looks like you're probably going to do the same.
Yep. Same kind of thing. Bills are due. Don't show up when
Right.
don't have
The
the landlady.
landlady's going to show up and you're not going to be there. Or you're going to miss a payment. Man, you can't have like any kind of like disconnection from reality at all.
Okay.
So is it he went to bed next day?
Yep.
Gotcha. Oh, and you must be able to get like little bits of information from. They're wearing gas masks, weren't they? Yeah, some of them are wearing masks. Back to those guys. Yeah, they're wearing like gas masks.
Got something going on.
Huh. Wonder why you aren't. Or I guess maybe they're ski masks or something. Well, the security guards are wearing the ski masks because
We're gonna go track down.
when you're beating people down for coming through security with the wrong object, you're probably not one to be known for that. Oh. Somebody's done something right. You don't look happy though. Where's all the medals? Usually isn't that what African nation dictators have? They've got the full chest of medals. Oh. I don't think your boss is going to give you any more information. They just strung them up.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yes, that was that, George.
Oh, praise the sun. No. Wrong game. And they still leave his body hanging there. Nothing says fear me like a head stump on a pole in the front yard.
So this starts to get a little more into the actual playing of the game. A lot of what you've seen the first kind of 10, 15 minutes is really story, gets you down the path, gets you communicating. Now the game's more opened up and I can actually start talking to people about what happened, what they heard, and hear who they know.
Oh, what their jobs are, what their life is about.
Some of this stuff is relevant and some of this stuff might be highly important.
So it's you to kind of work through the conversation,
Yep.
dialogue.
So as much effort as you want to put into each of these conversations, not dissimilar from Do Not Feed the Monkeys. My first play, I was out the door in, 10 minutes.
Sure.
And it was after a dozen plays that I figured out, kind of how to get, a grip on the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, that seems to be what they're doing well with these games. Is they know how to pace it to where it's difficult, but if you pay attention, it's actually
Very engaging.
very engaging, and it really kind of helps you succeed in what you're trying to accomplish.
Alright, well, I already know what he's doing, so... Doesn't have pictures. Come.
Okay, so now you're in another area. And is this is on the way to his job? like to his desk or whatever. that
Yes.
he sits at. He's kind of like mall information. That's what it looks like. But I see the line now. I didn't see the line before. I was like, where are the people? Are they just walking up to you, or is there an actual line?
Right.
That's what it is. Complain about the machine. Get indignant. That'll get you a demerit.
Well, so much for that feedback.
But yeah, I just kind of ignored what you had to say, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, it does a full body retina scan on you. Don't mess with the lady with the croissants and coffee. Oh, actually, somebody's in your... Oh, no, there's your cube, or whatever you want to call it. Your station.
It's a nice station.
It is. I mean, it's well kept. Ban on mass mailings. Okay. Seeing another man. Oh, and then you've got to choose where that goes. Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha.
I don't know what this one's going to be.
Social care, yeah. Oh, you got one wrong. And then you can just quit and walk away?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the terminal to hack right now.
Oh, I see what you're saying. At some point, you have to do this
Yep.
in the building, not from your house.
Yep.
Gotcha. I thought you were thinking like, or I thought it was you had a computer somewhere there and you had to hack from that into a terminal, but you actually have to go into the actual building.
Let's see what Magda has to say about it.
Rakiovich. A lot of this always feels like Eastern Bloc. Like it's basically a lesson, you know. You're gonna get the cold shoulder in the Eastern Bloc is how games throw it across at me for this. Although hanging out with everybody from there in real life, it's nothing like that. They love the stereotype though.
So he was executed for not handing over his pass. So that's what you get killed for in this universe.
They do the same thing here at the office. That's why there's so many dogs walking around here.
Got it.
The little Pekingese and the little Chihuahuas that roll around, and the what was the one our friend John Mercel used to have?
English bulldog.
No, not English bulldog. The one with the perky ears. French bulldog.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. It was close. Kind of.
Our office, you see like a French bulldog, he's always trying to get away. Like he is bolting towards one of these doors every time. If he only knew, like when he gets away from his owner, he goes the opposite direction, he'd be able to get out scot-free. He just bolts the wrong way. I watch him from my desk every time he's here.
So we are now looking for the lost and found.
And you can only go sideways, right? It is like a 2.5D.
For the time being,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. I was wondering, could you go further in? But we haven't gotten that far yet. I like that there's stuff in the background and the foreground that stick out. Like that camera you went past was like right in front of the camera, so you kind of rolled past it. I like some of the art design and the design of the game.
Random biometric safe in the plant. We'll take that.
Sure.
get out of the way.
Sure, that's not contraband at all.
Nope.
Again, leave the body hang and let everybody know that you mean business. And actually, oh, sorry, we didn't mention that. For everybody that's watching, if you've commented, so some guy, scandalous girl, please, we'll send you a key for the game on Wild Tangent. But for any of our games that we distribute, where you don't get a Steam key, every game on the service you can play for 30 minutes free. So, like games like this, you can try out. You can try. Oh wow, what was some of the? We just put up a few new ones, like Adam Wolf. Well, Adam Wolf is coming.
Yeah, we just published Seven Chambers tonight.
Seven Chambers was one that we just threw up on the service. So yeah, like any of those games, you can try every game on the service for 30 minutes for free, and it's the full game. So if you're an endurance player, you can get through it, or at least further in than most. It's almost like the Resident Evil one-shot challenge. I think we should put that up as the way to pitch this, to pitch the 30 minutes. You get one shot, and that's it. And we do like the folks at Capcom. That was not a dig on them. Our good friend David over there. But yeah, I don't know if I was too appreciative of the 30-minute one-shot demo. I would have loved to have been able to go back a few times, but hey, that's why you go buy the game.
Comes out Friday after next.
Comes out Friday after next. So. You're right. That's why you go and spend the big money. So what are you off to now? You're heading back.
Well, so now I've got multiple quests I can achieve. So I can...
Oh, they're just stacking up.
I can give the pass to Reykjavik. I can hack a terminal, or I can ask colleagues about the save. I'm not sure where the terminal's at, but I do know where Reykjavik is at, so we're going to...
I was going to say maybe Reykjavik will give you a pat on the back and an upgrade to your employee badge or something.
Not if that machine told her what I said, so...
Yeah,
the machine was not happy.
Think what you say to vending machines. Yeah. Do a double check. I wonder if the questing in this, now this is where it could go an opposite direction for my liking. If the questing becomes like fetch quests. I don't think it is right now. From what we're seeing is go do this, and then this is going to open up another portion.
Right.
It's not like, go get me coffee, bring it back. Go get me this, bring it back. Eventually.
I don't think you're that low level of an employee in this game.
Right. You actually have some standing because you're able to get in and out.
You can process appeals.
Wow. Oh, but then you have to wait your time to talk to Reykjavik. Fire him. It does have a lot of text.
Yep.
When I streamed, this would have been one of the games where I would have read through the text and read it out loud, and that gets to be a lot as a streamer. And then the left-hand side, are those the quests?
Yes.
Okay. So you get paid, you got your time you're worried about. What is you get credits? Task completion? What is that?
This is like the ministry's currency.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's your how well of a job you're doing. Your what would they call that? That would be.
I don't want to call it reputation, but that's what.
Yeah,
it reminds
no,
me.
it's almost like your. It's similar along the lines of what I was thinking. It's almost like your accolades. No. What's the thing that you get on Hip Chat? where you can give somebody
Oh, like the karma or whatever?
your karma or something within the company.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And maybe that leads to promotions. It's actually, I mean, overall, I could see spending some time on this because it's meaty enough with the quests. It's funny though, you don't have to do your job. You can kind of roll around. Can you just go back there randomly and like check somebody in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's an optional type thing. I wonder if you kind of get in trouble if you don't do that. If there's a penalty for not working. I would have to imagine there's a penalty for not working enough at that job or processing enough appeals.
I know there will be some spots later where you're going to be forced to either have the dollars or the credit to buy something in-game necessary, or it'll branch off down a path where you don't need to have that item.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Oof, $350.
Well, so you have to trade your
Too rich for my blood.
karma or whatever at some point. So that's like a currency you can work with internally within the government. I think we've played a good bit. What do you think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go
we don't
too
want-
much further for anybody that wants to play and enjoy the story themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's roughly about 30 minutes, so this is what you'd expect from the demo, but you could make different choices, which is the kind of nice thing you were pointing out.
Yep.
So you don't have to follow the same line. You can actually do branching paths or choose different paths. I'm going to flip us back here. But yeah, we appreciate everybody kind of stopping in, checking out the cast. We're going to be doing this weekly, so this will be the Thursday, and it'll be probably at 6 p.m. We haven't locked in a time, but 6 p.m. seems to work, so 6 to 7 p.m. at least Pacific time.
That's what we're thinking.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where we're based at on the West Coast, up in Seattle or near Seattle, Bellevue, Washington. So we'll probably be doing that, and that'll start next Thursday. But we will have a show on Wednesday as well, but that's only on Facebook, and that's called Games Gone Wild. And we'll be talking about different games that we get through various partners that provide us casual games.
Yeah. I think this month we're going to be covering, it looks like there will be some Surrogate software in there. I think there's going to be some Game House in there.
Yep.
I think we've got some Big Fish. I think All War is going to sneak in on that one as well. So.
Yeah, we'll be doing, and those games, you can imagine that there'll be time management, hidden object style games,
We're going to get us some interesting puzzle games.
Interesting puzzle games, yeah, for sure. And then, this game kind of feels like this type of adventure could almost be in there, but I would probably say that, we'll definitely try to keep it more towards a focus for the audience on Facebook.
Yep.
And then Thursdays, Twitch, YouTube, you'll be able to catch us here, 6 o'clock. And then we'll be doing, we run the video, the YouTube side of the house.
Yep.
All the videos that go up. So
Those are 4 videos a day.
4 videos a day. They go, I got to remember, even though we do it every day, 9, noon, 3, and 6 p.m.
Yep.
We may start dropping them on Facebook at some type of regular deployment times. We're not quite sure about that, and then also on Twitch potentially as well.
We're still actively discussing the cadence of how frequently we release videos.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We don't want to inundate people, but we deploy, hundreds of games a month, just like any other platform. So,
Yep.
you go to Steam, you go anywhere else, they're going to have hundreds of games, thousands of games. We're deploying plenty a month, and to get them visible and to get them enough, get them enough visibility in front of a consumer or anybody that we like to spread it out. So that's why we started doing the weekly tangent here, which will morph more than likely, right? You won't have the exact same show. We just thought, hey, let's get some idea of some good games we like playing.
Yep.
Show them,
I think we're talking about bringing some guests on. We've got a couple in mind for that.
Yeah, we did. If you want to check some of the back YouTube videos, we did an interview with Andrew from Mega Cat Studios.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
When we did a cast in mid to late December.
Right before I got sick, unfortunately.
Right before you got sick. Yeah. Right before there. And it was for log jammers. So check that out. You can see kind of some of the things that we're going to be doing. We have a lot of different developer partners we can coax and pull in here. And we'll be giving away plenty of content, doing different cool things.
Yep.
We've got the ability to get a little wild with our free games that we hand out. So, but yes, we wanted to say thank you to everybody who joined. Definitely check us out. If you don't already follow Wild Tangent, you can easily go to wildtangent.com and you can find all of our social media links on the page. You can definitely check us out on Twitch if you're on YouTube watching. You can check us out on Twitch at Wild Tangent Games. On YouTube, it's Wild Tangent. Play Wild Tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Play Wild Tangent. And Twitter, Play Wild Tangent as well. It's actually Play Wild Tangent Games on YouTube. Am I correct? We have a little bit of a different...
each of them are named differently.
Yeah, each of them are named differently. And we've tried to make them kind of coincide together and sound similar so it's easy to find. But if you just go in and you look for Wild Tangent Games on YouTube, you should be able to come across us. It's Play Wild. I did say there. I have it on mine. It just shows Wild Tangent on mine. We did have all this down pat last time. But you can also follow us on Twitter at Play Wild Tangent as well. So, Brooks, where can people find you on the internet if they want to reach out?
My most common spot right now is LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
So yeah, you can find me at Brooks Benthany on LinkedIn. That's kind of my common hub. That's where a lot of our game developer contacts. I mean, when we're not doing shows or at various events, that's a really common spot where we link up. We're always browsing. Gosh, the number of channels we look through, whether it's various social outlets or Reddit or gaming news sites, we are always chomping at the bit to find the latest, the newest games to bring on.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time running around trying to get in front of as many developers as we can to bring everybody great content and new things to play. I myself, you can check me out at Fans of Games on Twitter. So if you need to reach out, or if you have a question, or if you have any interesting thing you would like to know about games, feel free to hit us up. We may do some trivia down the road. We've been playing games quite a long time.
Thank you.
Funny enough, Brooks and I had a podcast, more than 10 years ago, probably now. Or maybe about 10 years ago.
See, that would have been, we were doing that after...
We left Gamehouse.
So that would have been after 07, 08. So that would have been like 08, 09. So a decade ago, yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing it a little bit. So now we're back doing it for Wild Tangent, who we have loved ever since we came here. So it's definitely a good opportunity for us to get back and do what we do.
I'm very much looking forward to our games this year. This is probably, I think, going to be the strongest set of releases we've had this year.
Oh, I think. So. Yeah, it's going to be the biggest year for game releases that I know of. Yeah. So look forward to that. And then definitely check us out next week. Bookmark it. If you haven't, subscribe on YouTube. And you can click the bell to get notified when we go live. And then on Twitch, give us a follow. And we'll definitely talk to you next week. 6 p.m.-ish, Thursdays.
Have a good night.
All right, have a good night. See ya.